Yo. It's your boy noluckmacK, man. What it do, what it is. What it do, what it is, man. I know it's been a minute, but I got a video. I got a video for y'all today. I swear, I got a video for y'all this time. So, in the universe today, a topic of conversation that has been dominating my social media is the creation of hip hop. For the most part, the genuine consensus here in America was, it was founded in the Bronx, New York City, late 60s, early 70s. You know what I'm saying? Some of the pioneers being Kool Herc is the name that's thrown around a lot. African Bambaataa, Grandmaster Flash, Grandmaster Cass, Grandmaster Theodore. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of names are being thrown around. Right? So now the conversation has moved to what group of people can be accredited? Excuse me. What group of people can be accredited with the creation of hip hop, right? We have some people who have the ideology that Jamaican Americans are the creators of hip hop. Kool Herc, according to them, Kool Herc brought Jamaican culture to the Bronx, and all the people embraced it, and that spawned hip hop. It's false. It's false. Some say other groups like Puerto Ricans as well was there. They were creators. They helped create, which too is false. Others have the ideology, it's just some New York thing. It's a New York culture, you know what I'm saying, which also leaves room to the reason why we're having this conversation now. Because me being born and raised in New York, let me just put it in context. I'm African American. My family come from out the South. I don't come from no other country, no other islands or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? ADOS, FBA. That's me. My lineage is here in this country. And so the conversation gets real historical. And for me, I feel like what the problem is with people is their dates. And they don't understand that before hip hop was given a name, hip hop, it was already a thing. If that makes sense. As far as the dancing was already a thing, the music was a thing, the fashion was a thing. Everything was already a thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's today. Today was this conversation consumed my social medias today. It consumed my timelines and stuff because people just feel like African Americans or FBAs or black people are trying to play gatekeepers when in reality we just trying to let it be known, hey, these other groups 100% contributed, but in terms of creation, literally from nothing to something, they had no contributions to that. They didn't have any contribution to the fashion, the dancing. The dancing, yes, later though. In the beginning, they had no contribution to the fashion, to the music, to the dance, to the art. All this stuff was pre-existing things. Everything was already pre-existent, right? So what I'm gonna do today, we're gonna just go, just go through YouTube, look for some clips, look for something for people who have opposing views. I want to reiterate, this don't got nothing to do with hate. I've been seeing a lot of people trying to turn this thing into a hate thing, and I said it like this. This is particularly in terms of Puerto Ricans, right? Hack the Level is a very, very famous salsa singer. Some would say he revitalized it for the modern times, but he didn't blow up in Puerto Rico. He came to New York and blew up. So I asked this. I proposed this question to a Puerto Rican. I said, I what I just said. Hey, Hector Lavoe, he came to New York City in the 70s, late 60s. You know, they had the salsa movement going really, really strong. He became really, really popular. Can me, not me as a black person, but me as a New Yorker, just New Yorker, can I claim that culture? No response, because that didn't make sense to him. He blew up here. He was in the clubs here. He was with the people here. Right. So that would be New York culture, right? According to you, like hip hop is New York culture. Salsa's New York culture. No, that don't make sense, right? Exactly. Like like the mob, the mafia. We know that was Italian culture. They had all types of other people, Jewish mobs, Irish mobs, Polish mobs. They had it all. But we know the mafioso, La Costa Nostra, that's Italians. That's their stuff. Even if it happened in New York, just because I'm from New York don't mean now I can claim that culture. Right? So we gonna get into a video. We got one video right here. This one is titled "The Puerto Rican Contribution to Hip Hop Culture." Let me reiterate, they absolutely contributed. With the problem we're having is people using the words like founded, created. Those words have different meanings than contributed, helped. You get what I'm saying? That's two different things. To be a founder or creator, that means you was there from the initial point of creation. You was there, you put the pieces together, you created something. Contributing is, I see you over there building something, I come with the hammer, now I'm helping you. I'm making the job easier for you, and we getting the job done together. That's contributing, right? So let's get into this guy's video.
Well, as you can see, today we're in a vehicle.
Time out. 420 Club, you already know what time it is, man. Oh, excuse me. Let's spark them things up.
We are going on a ride. Not a physical ride, we're going on a historical drive. And I want to talk about the historical influence of Puerto Ricans on hip-hop culture. Because as quiet...
Anything is facts, we'll keep it funky and say it's facts. Anything we don't know, we're going to stop the tape and we're going to go look it up. Because we're not going to play those games.
It's kept. The Puerto Rican people helped to shape and develop hip-hop culture as we know it. Now, automatically, when we talk about hip-hop, we think rap. I'm not talking about rap. Rapping is part of it. I'm talking about the elements that make up hip-hop culture. The DJ, the MC, right, the graffiti writer, and the b-boy. Those are the four elements that make up hip-hop culture. See, and the Puerto Rican people...
Boom, right there. See, any real hip-hop enthusiast know it's 5 elements. It's not 4 elements. It's DJing, MCing, graffiti writing, b-boying, knowledge. How do you remove knowledge from the leg? Everybody knows the 5 pillars. They call it the 5 pillars of hip hop. Knowledge.
Puerto Ricans were influential in helping to develop this subculture within the inner cities, primarily starting in the Bronx, the South Bronx. Why do I want to talk about this? Why is this important? Because I'm a history teacher.
Okay.
And as a historian, I like to deal in history and historical facts.
But he already started off with misinformation. Just throwing that out there. He already started off with one major misinformation. But we'll digress.
Historical facts are these. That and let me preface it with this. I can only speak to what I saw. I can't speak to what anybody else saw.
So then you're not going off facts. You're going off of your experience, sir. You have to, in order for it to be historical facts, other people have to have witnessed it. Other people have to have agreed with it. Don't just go off your own personal experience, your own little bubble.
To what I saw in my community. I grew up in the South Bronx. I grew up in a community that was African American and Hispanic with a little...
Still, the Bronx is still like that today?
of, you know, Asian and Caucasian mixed in, but it was primarily African American and Hispanic. And I grew up seeing the Puerto Ricans involved in MCing, DJing.
He got to give dates. You can't just say that because yes, absolutely, but you're not giving origins. Like you got to give dates, bro. You can't just say you saw them. Like obviously you did. Now when did you see them? Let's just keep going. Let's see if he says
B-boying,
right,
and graffiti writing.
Just so FYI, one of the breakdancers in B Street was my chemistry teacher. Just to throw that out there. One of the breakdancers in, I think he was on the opposite team of the main character, Lee's dance crew. I can't remember the name, but they had the red on. And I believe it was Crazy Legs and them team. Like that was my teacher, my chemistry teacher was one of those kids.
Saw. Were the African Americans doing it? Absolutely. But I think in this day and age, we really get no credit for what we helped to spark. When I think about the Puerto Ricans that should be on the list of those who helped to create this urban subculture that is now $1 billion a year industry, I think about probably one of what they called one of the first DJs, one of the first Puerto Rican DJs in hip hop, and that is DJ Charlie Chase.
Charlie Chase?
With the Cold Crush.
Okay, I know who Charlie Chase is. Cold Crush Brothers. He was in a couple movies and stuff. Let's look up Charlie Chase DJ days. Give me a second. DJ Charlie Chase. Let's see. Nah, I like this one better. I want him to talk about it. Open and get a new tab. Okay, go back.
Crush Brothers.
Because I definitely know who Charlie Chase is. He is absolutely, without doubt, without question, he is absolutely a foundational figure in hip hop. Yes, Charlie Chase, Cold Crush Brothers, he's 100% is. But let's get a little more.
Well, I'm fresh because I'm the best. And I get wild when I'm wild.
But like I said, and this, just to point it out, 5 black dudes there and then 1 Puerto Rican brother. So you can't, my whole thing is you can't crown your entire group of people as contributors when you have just 1 or 2, 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like your people came like, yo, we doing this too. Like, no, it was a few of y'all. Just like if he's old enough to remember this, he remembers a lot of the gangs of the time. A lot of those gangs was either black, Puerto Rican, or Italian. It was only one gang that allowed everybody to join. So, but let's keep going. FYI, this is Kevy Kev right here to the far right. Kevy Kev. I used to call myself that as a kid because I was that much into hip hop as a kid. Kevy Kev. I liked his little verse on the basketball court. What movie was that, bro? Bro, it's one of those early hip hop movies. It's not Crush Grooves. It's not B Street, bro. I can't remember. It's a graffiti movie, bro. I can't remember. But that's Kevy Kev right there. My son Kevy Kev.
Cause I'm bold. And Charlie Chase will last. Cause he's fast. And Tony Tone got book cause he's original. The Cold Crush is on. Cause we perform. And even in a storm, we'll keep you warm. Hey, crew.
My name is DJ Charlie Chase of the world famous Cold Crush Brothers, the legendary Cold Crush Brothers, or as Grandmaster Kaz likes to call us, the architects of hip hop. Started back in 1975 in the Bronx, basically with a crew called Tom and Jerry. It was a disco DJ group. They were actually members of my band. One day, I went to the keyboards player's house to pick him up to go to a gig that we had. And when I went inside his house, he was DJing, and I had never actually seen DJ
Oh, black dude put a board.
before. They were actually members of my band. Charlie Chase of the world famous
Cold
Crush
Crush.
Brothers, the legendary Cold Crush Brothers, or as Grandmaster Caz likes to call us, the architects of hip hop. Started back in 1975 in the Bronx, basically with a
75. 75 though. It's a lot of people. You go to Wayne TV, a lot of them dudes talking 69, 70, 71, 72, 73. He came in the game 75. And he was doing disco.
group called Tom and Jerry. It was a disco DJ group. They were actually members of my band. One day, I went to the keyboards player's house to pick him up to go to a gig that we had. And when I went inside his house, he was DJing, and I had never actually seen DJing before. It was the first time I had ever seen that.
In 1975.
And I was watching, you know, the way he was working it, the mechanics, how it was making it happen, and I like the flow, and being that I'm kind of a techie nerd person, where just watching all that really, you know, excited me, and I caught interest in that, and a couple of times of going back to see him and watching him do it, I caught the bug and decided to want to be a DJ. I come from a family of musicians, and I've always liked the funk, and I've always liked rock, and I've always liked funk music and soul music. That was always in my blood. I grew up listening to Sly Stone and all that. So,
Foundational Black Americans.
when I first heard guys rhyming on a mic, you know, and they weren't even really rhyming like we were rhyming then. They would just like blurt out little things and little nursery rhymes here and there. That combined with the DJ mixing beats, you know, and certain records, and they weren't really mixing them that well either. That they were just trying to mix at that time. Remember, we're at the early stages of hip hop. So when I saw that, I was really intrigued by that, and I said, "This is what I want to do." This is like I was already a DJ.
So, like we're saying, it was already there. He didn't come. He wasn't there to start shit off. He wasn't there to kick nothing. He didn't show niggas nothing. It was already there, and he said, "I want to be a part of that." And that's what we're freaking saying, bro. It's no creator if it's already created and you're joined. But let's go back to the other video now.
All right, he was a Puerto Rican DJ. But before that, we even have Disco Wiz. He DJ'd with Grandmaster Cad.
DJ Disco Wiz, bro. Even though I already looked him up, I already know it. We're gonna look into him. Go to his Wikipedia page. Luis Signano, also known as DJ Disco Wiz, born August 11th, 1961, Bronx, New York, to a Puerto Rican father and mother from Cuba. He is noted as being the first Latino DJ in hip-hop music. Okay. After being inspired at Kool Herc Jam. So Kool Herc is already a person. It's already a thing. If Kool Herc's a person, you already know Flowers is a person. You already know Mario's a person. You already know Tex is a person. It's already notable DJs doing this hip hop stuff already. Again, after being inspired, not he was just doing this. He came up with this style. He introduced it to people, and people was like, "Yo." Nah, he saw what was being done and jumped on the wave. That's all we trying to say.
Back in the 70s, he was a Puerto Rican DJ. We have people like Ruby D from the Fantastic Romantic Vibe.
Wait, my son Ruby D from Fantastic is Puerto Rican. Let me see. Ruby D. He looked like the dude. Hold on, not that Ruby D. Fantastic is the romantic. Fantastic is the romantic. Somebody, funny that is just coming out is the Grand Wizard Theodore and the Fantastic Five. Someone said that Charlie Chase was he ran around with the group who started scratching and stuff. No, they were the opposite. Cold Crush and the Fantastic Five was two different crews, brother. Like, that's crazy. Nah, but we don't want Grand Wizard Theodore. We want info about Ruby D. Ruby D. We need more info. We need more info. Ruby D's the one right here in the middle. Obviously, he does not, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let's just watch this video real quick. Wild Style. Right.
Y'all coming to the Dixie tonight? Who's there? Fantastic and Cold Crush. Oh my.
Just FYI, she look like a Puerto Rican lady.
Tonight? Who's there? Fantastic and Cold Crush. Oh my God. Well, I think you might have got that wrong. What? You know how Fantastic be talking about Cold Crush.
It's supposed to be a serious throwdown.
Right.
Here they come.
See, I told
Here they
y'all.
go.
Now y'all believe
Look at that dude. That dude look too mean.
Well, I'm a T. I'll dog my face. I want to get you on the court. I beat Charlie Chase.
Cold Crush.
Charlie Chase, as cute as could be, you sell your soul to the devil to play like me.
Well, I'm the R. Ruby D. And you got a lot of nerve.
Okay,
When you
that's
play
Ruby
against
D.
me, you know you're gonna get served. Cold Crush.
Okay, yeah, so I know this brother right here, Ruby D. Yes, you can just kind of tell by his hair. But he's melanated, he's afroed out. And one thing we always say is, they didn't bring their culture to our culture. They assimilated into our culture. They didn't come and you know what I'm saying, with some new revolutionary stuff. They joined our culture. Look, you can't even tell. Ruby D's the one on the far right here. I'm thinking Ruby D the one in the middle. He not the one in the middle.
Yo, the Lords and Ruby D, my man, your shit
It's
is on
over.
the boards.
You all can't ball. You all can't ball.
I'm the
K,
Kevin
K,
Cav.
and I'm not the fake. You know I eat your ass up like a steak you take.
Cold Crush. You know the arm. Game is legit. And when we get on the court, I'm gonna stick your shit.
The W.
Whip a whip.
And I'm here to say that I can rock your world like the Dr. J.
Cold Crush.
Tony Tone, known to be ill, but everybody know I can deal with the pill. I'm the D.
Gotta rock.
On this here court, I've been 9 years old playing this here sport.
Cold Crush.
AD. Highest
That's his
degree.
name,
I got a
AD.
better jump shot than
Rick Barry.
Well, I'm the M. Like all the pretty girls, I serve your monkey ass like
He look like the dude. If you ever saw the movie Crossover, the street ball movie, that dude with the braids, he looked like that dude.
Cold Crush. I'm not the cast or GMC. I'm gonna stick it on the board, man.
Damn.
Can't you see?
We have to come to an agreement who's gonna survive.
All right. Cold Crush Brothers are the Fantastic Five.
C's. He was a Puerto Rican. So we got
Okay.
Charlie Chase, Disco Wiz, Ruby D. I mean, you know, but within that, of course, you know, later on we have, you know, Frankie Cutlass, DJ Frankie Cutlass. We have
You gotta look these people up. DJ Frankie Cutlass. DJ Frankie Cutlass. Okay, we need more. We need more of him. I see he got joints with the Juice Crew. That's the 80s though. I need to learn more about him. I need to know who he is, DJ. I'm trying to 1990, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see something in the 70s. Nah. So he's more so 80s. He's not foundational. He's not a pioneer like over there. He's more 80s. One shit was commercial. Yeah, okay. We gotta look more into him though.
Joe,
No,
and
it's too
of
late.
course we have Big Pun.
It's too late.
And I'm gonna get back to Big Pun in a minute.
It's too
But
late.
those people that we see, can't forget, forgive me, the devastating Tito from the Fearless Four,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best MCs to ever do it.
Who what's his name?
Fearless Four. Can't forget, forgive me, the devastating Tito from the Fearless.
Cheeto from the Fearless Four. school joints. But yes, Fearless 4, they are definitely legends. I'm like, he's educating right now. You know what I'm saying? They're right there.
One of the best MCs to ever do it. Before his time, no doubt about it. You know, when we hear about the story of Fat Joe and him discovering Big Pun, he's going to, you know, just, you know, dudes on the block, and they're MCing and Pun known. When I think of the Puerto Rican influence, I think of another Puerto Rican from the Bronx by the name of Joe Conzo, who is known for taking hip hop's baby pic. Name of Joe Conzo,
Joe Conzo. Damn, I don't know how you would spell that. Conzo like that. Yeah. Okay, and he's on the Walk of Fame.
I was born in the Jackson Projects on 149th Street and Jackson Avenue. At an early age, my grandmother got into activism, and she founded an organization called United Bronx Parents. My mother, Lorraine Montenegro, took over the organization. My playground growing up was going to demonstrations at City Hall, going to Washington, D.C. to fight for the freedom of the Puerto Rican political prisoner. It just became part of me. I worked for the New York City Fire Department Emergency Medical Service for 27 years. I also got involved in the union labor part of my job. So, you know, that activism was instilled in me as a young age. Photography was a hobby. It became a passion and a love of mine. I was that chubby kid with a huge afro, capturing the height of Latin music because of my father, Joe Conzo Sr., shooting Tito Puentes, Celia Cruz, Hector Lavoe, the Palmieri brothers.
That's what I've been saying. FYI, the salsa movement is going at the same time. So majority of Latinos at the time they was part of that, bro. You see 1, 2, 3. It's not Puerto Ricans, bro. Like, no, that's those individuals. No, like your culture didn't play a part of what was happening over here. You came over, you joined.
And then the activism that was going on in the Bronx at the time, just taking pictures of my surroundings, and I was there to document some of the earliest hip-hop
There we
parties.
go.
It wasn't even called hip-hop then. It was called the Jam. And being invited by my schoolmates at South Bronx High School to take pictures of this group that they were putting together, the Crush Brothers, who are known as some of the pillars, the foundation of this culture called hip-hop. I had no idea that I'd be documenting a time and place here in the Bronx and in New York City that would become
All right, we gotta look at those
time
faces.
and place here in the Bronx.
We gotta look at those faces. You definitely see a lot of the Puerto Rican brothers in there, dude. A lot of the Puerto Rican brothers is in there. But it's hard to tell who's who, you know what I'm saying? You could tell, obviously, some who are black people, obviously. You know, light-skinned people exist. Black people come in all shades. Shit, Puerto Ricans come in all shades, so you can't even know 100%. I'm gonna come clean. I'm willing to play devil's advocate on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to just shun everybody. But look at that. These are the people who were there.
And in New York City, that would be
But regardless, you can see who's the dominant people there.
so iconic. One thing that I've tried to do is show beauty, even though there was a lot of devastation going on around us at the time. My grandmother had the same.
I'm looking to see if he got some exhibits or something. Let's keep it going. Oh, what happened?
Ricans out there, right? So, of course, we got the Rocksteady crew, Crazy Legs, and the
Right.
crew.
But my thing is, let me see. Crazy Legs. We all know Crazy Legs. I met Crazy Legs before.
I think there was.
You gotta hear it from their mouth.
Jimmy D and a brother named Jimmy Lee.
Culture gonna shape up to be. You know, we just saw, King Tech and myself in it.
Okay, great.
It's good to know. Way to start Crazy Legs. And McForth in the San Francisco Ballet Breakers. Okay, I think y'all did something with them.
I did some, I don't remember.
Here, have a beat. You ain't gotta worry about King. And Tech was force.
Okay. Get high back then, but
Okay, great.
Tech was Flynamic Force, motivated, gonna shape with Puerto. Oh, come on, man. And we got inspired. Graph writing deep.
I was a shy dude.
When did you first start dancing?
Started dancing in 1977. I went to a jam on
1977. This is the most legendary breakdancer ever. And what he just told you, he got into the dancing in 1977. If anybody who was there, they'll tell you by 1977, breakdancing was already a thing. B-boying was already a thing.
On the Avenue in the Bronx. My cousin Lenny Lynn brought me there, and I was a shy dude, and I just had witnessed all these things happening before it was called hip hop. So it was just like, yo, you.
And that's what we trying to tell people. Like, hip hop was coined at the Cool Herc Cook party thing, but it was already happening. He said 1977. I feel like it's 77. I think they said the official date was, what, 79? Come on, bro.
Boy, yo, you right, yo, you DJ, yo, you want to battle? And that's what it was all about, hip-hop. So it was just like, yo, you B-boy, yo, you right, yo, you DJ, yo, you want to battle? And that's what it was all about.
Before it was called hip-hop.
Went to this jam, I was a little shorty, 10 years old, and my mind was blown away, my gear was corny, but that day, I got down on the floor. I got smoked, but I got down. Didn't know what I was doing, but I was so excited that this became my thing.
When did the Rocksteady crew first form, and then who were the original members?
Rocksteady crew formed around 77. The original founders were Jimmy D, a brother named Jimmy D, and a brother named Jimmy Lee. And
First time that I saw anything similar to b-boying was on TV, and then physically being there to see it done was first by my cousins up in the Bronx. And then I started seeing guys doing these corkscrew kind of spins and then going on the floor doing a sweep and then popping up, and I'm like, oh wow, that's it. I gotta learn that, man. That's cool.
The first time I ever saw something that intrigued me in a way where I felt like I had to live this was at a place called 1130 Anderson Avenue. It's where I lived. Every weekend, I remember they play a lot of music out of a particular person's apartment, and people would get together and they would form a circle and they would battle. Now, of course, not understanding at age 7, 8 what a battle is, but I was able to visually understand that one person was mocking another. And at that time, they were doing a lot of, you know, Bronx rocking is what we called, which was to do gestures to humiliate the other one, like grab the head, cut it, shake it up, throw it, cock the gun, and shoot it. And I remember like it was yesterday, I remember we're in a circle watching. Now, mind you, at this time I'm just watching. There's a gentleman that jumped up in the air and went down to a pose, which now we call a freeze, of course. But everybody was completely mesmerized by it, especially me as a little boy. And it was that instant that I remember for me of when breaking, b-boying started.
My first experience with watching breaking, b-boying, happened in 1976. It was my brother, Robert Colon, and he was actually in front of my house with Africa Islam of the Zulu Nation. I was 9 years old. I was looking at him, thinking...
This dude just told two different stories, but we not here to shit on my brother.
Why is my brother throwing himself on the floor and embarrassing my family? My cousin comes to me a year later and tells me, "Yo, Rich, you gotta come with me to the jam." I'm like, "What?" "The jam, man. Yo, we going off, they're rocking, people breaking, got MCs, DJs, playing beats and blah, 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 all this stuff." It's not like I could think about, okay, wow, this is hip-hop.
The showman.
Because the word didn't exist like that yet, by definition. And I just fell in love with this environment. I was like, wow. It was the first time I ever wanted to dance without being afraid of humiliation or insecurity.
I'm not gonna front. That's how I felt when it came to jerking. I'm not gonna front.
Or shyness. You know, that's when I felt like I was really born. When, you know, just like witnessing.
All right. That's enough right there on them. Let's move over to the other people with their claims. We got our Yard brethren. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all love. It's all respect at the end of the day.
That we displayed, a lot of that shit come from dancehall culture. And I don't think people really understand this whole hip-hop shit was birthed from Jamaica.
It's crazy that he said that, yo, because you know what? I've been in the South since 2006, and I swear I've been trying to get the dancehall music down here to all the DJs I've met. And you know, there's only one DJ that really like pulled towards that, and it's DJ Blaze. And the rest in peace, DJ Blaze. But it's
So, if bro, you put this out October 17th, 2020, right? You say you've been down south since 2006, and you've been trying to push dancehall, and nobody's jacking it. What do you think of those same people in 1960s, 1970s? What a lot of migrants in New York City don't tend to realize is that it's a lot of migrants here. So in New York City, island music could blast because you got a lot of island people from different islands. You go down south where it's a bunch of Southerners. All they know is this Southern land, this Southern country right here. That's not gonna fly, bro. I bet if you come to New York and you trying to pass around some fire dance hall, you'll probably get into a lot more clubs, a lot more stuff, bro. I guarantee. But I digress.
yo, Buster speaking some facts.
Jamaica. Like Kool Herc's a Jamaican nigga. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The whole concept of having big-ass speakers stockpiled on top of each other and playing loud-ass music outside, that come from Jamaica. That's dancehall culture.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, yeah, I'm not even gonna do it because I feel like enough people have debunked Busta Rhymes and the stuff he said that I'm not even gonna continue. So 40 minutes, we gonna tap out right here, y'all. We gonna tap out right here. It's been your boy. Look, we all brothers, and you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. But respect the creators, man. Respect the creators. Respect the creators. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, okay, now